What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So I just recently made a video discussing how Romeo Miller went at his own father, Master P. And he went at P because Master P was on social media. He sent condolences to DJ Twitch of the Ellen DeGeneres show. He sent condolences to DJ Twitch's family upon hearing the news that he committed suicide. In the post, P was basically talking about how mental health and mental illness is real. We need to, check on your people. You need to support your people, love on your people, get them help, whatever. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what Master P was. That was the gist of what he was saying in that, I guess the rest in peace post for DJ Twitch, right? And so when Romeo Miller, his son, saw the post, he lost it because he got upset due to the fact that he felt like his father ignored the mental health battle of his sister for a while. Like he ignored it. He washed his hands with his sister's mental health battle. And he's like, hold on. How can you have compassion now for somebody that you don't know? Now you can have compassion and express it, so on and so forth, but you ignored it for years with your own daughter. And so Romeo, he took exception to that because he felt like he lost his sister. And during the time his sister was going through it, he felt like his father could have been there a lot more for his sister, right? Now, we weren't there. We don't know what happened. But I always knew that Romeo was never a disrespectful child. He's one of the most respectful child stars I've ever seen in the industry, right? He honored his father, worshiped the ground his father walked on, right? I saw him stand beside his father when his father was going on television show after television show, discussing his mother's battle with drugs and calling her an addict on several different platforms. And Romeo Miller sat there quietly with his father while his father was talking about his mother, right? And he stood by his father's side. And in today's generation, right, where, young black men, for the most part, when their mother and father is at war with each other, when they're at odds, I don't want to say war, at odds with each other, the young black boy going to side with his mother. And I saw Romeo stand by his father's side through and through, thick and thin, right? So I never questioned it. Romeo never came out as a disrespectful father. He never talked bad about his mom. He never talked bad about his dad. So I knew this was coming from a place where he was hurt. And he was just like, he hurt he lost his sister. He hurt how his father handled certain things, and he voiced it. After Romeo made this post, Master P came out and did the typical thing that a lot of black parents do when they are held accountable for certain things that they're doing. When they do wrong and their children tell them it's wrong, and when their children address how they did things wrong and how they should have handled it in a different way and how, they're not right for certain things they're saying and doing, they get upset. They call you ungrateful. They called you spoiled brats. They call you whiny. They say that you're looking for sympathy. They talk about everything that they did for you and all the sacrifices they made. That's what Master P did. And when I saw P put that, I say, yeah, P, you made a lot of sacrifices. But as a parent, that's what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to do that. I have 2 children. I'm supposed to go to war for them no matter what. I'm supposed to sacrifice whatever for them. That's my job and duty as a father. Nobody else's duty and responsibility. His mother, me and his mother, my son's mother, and me and my daughter's mother as well, right? Because they have two different mothers, my children. Me and their mothers are supposed to go to war for them and sacrifice everything for them. We don't deserve any type of kudos from our children for that. That's what we're supposed to do. Now, I recognize that P put the family in position to make big money, to sell records, so on and so forth, and to be successful as a unit. He did that, for sure. But that does not absolve you from being wrong when you're wrong. When you're wrong, it is what it is. And, black parents feel like if you call them out, you're being disrespectful. Not call them out. If you tell them that they're wrong, right? I'm sure Romeo has went to his father personally and expressed these things to him, but it's not getting through to his father, right? He expressed how after his sister died, he held a family meeting and about how things could go differently going forward when it comes to mental illness and mental health amongst the children in the family. And P deemed it disrespectful for him to even have that meeting and try to discuss how to handle things differently going forward. P deemed it disrespectful because, like I said before, Master P is a father. I know black fathers like this. I grew up in a generation with black men who are like this in a lot of ways. And a lot of these black men did good things. So I'm sure P was a good father and good things he did. But Romeo said, I'm sure my father tried his best. But yet and still he did a lot of things wrong, right? They think that because they laid down sacrifices for you, you can't question nothing they do. It's their way or the highway in every situation. And if you don't do things the way they want you to do it, oh man, you're being disrespectful. Even when you're an adult and you're a grown man, if you don't do things the way they want you to do it, you're being disrespectful to them, which is not the case. Romeo has never been a disrespectful child. Anytime you see a young black boy sit there and let you call his mama an addict on different platforms all around, radio, TV, he on the Wendy show, right? Wendy show of all business, the gossip central of America, Wendy Williams show. He's calling his mama an addict. On The View, not on The View, on The Talk and the Real and all those shows. Romeo's sitting side by side with his father while he calling his mama an addict all throughout. And he letting it ride. Romeo not shaming his mama, he not shaming her, but he's still standing by his father while his father's doing this, while his father is doing that. So it speaks volumes about Romeo's character and how he is as a child, and let me know he's not a disrespectful child to his father. He's not a disrespectful son. He's calling this out because P has been doing this for a while. And like I said, I recognize certain narcissistic traits in Master P. Like a lot of black fathers, even black parents in general, not just black fathers, you're never supposed to oppose them no matter what they do because they gave you life and they put food and clothes on your back. That's what you're supposed to do as a parent. I'm not looking for no cookies and rewards and kudos for that. That's what I'm supposed to do, right? And sometimes if your children say you're wrong and they say it in a respectful manner, because I'm more than sure Romeo is not a disrespectful child. This is not Bow Wow who just go all off the hinge and just talk crazy and reckless at all. I know Romeo said it in a way you can see how look how Rome's whole disposition is. He don't come across like a little thug or a young ignorant little young punk of a son. He don't come across as no spoiled entitled brat or nothing ever. P never even talked about Romeo in that ilk. So you know Rome ain't coming from a place of just bitterness and trying to get sympathy. He been quiet for years. And now enough is enough. So, under the post where P was talking about children being disrespectful to their parents, and every black parent do this. When they children call them out for their wrongdoings and tell them that they're wrong, they get this generation soft. This generation soft. And I said, everybody love calling the children of men like Master P soft, for when they speak out about the narcissistic ways of their parent, right? But this is the thing. But this is the thing a lot of people don't recognize. Most of the children of the overbearing parent, they can't be hard body all the time. They want them to be hard body. They feel like the children of men who are powerful men in the black community, the children of men, or even sometimes women in some cases, of powerful men in the black community who's had a huge impact on the culture, they feel like those kids are supposed to be hard body and silently sit back and let their fathers get their way every single time. No matter what happens, your father is supposed to get his way. You're supposed to coddle your father's feelings. You're supposed to coddle the feelings of your parents. When the parent has no compassion for the children, the parent has no type of empathy for their child. And you know why they don't have compassion or empathy? Because I gave you life. And I got you. I kept y'all in food. I kept y'all in clothes on your back. I kept y'all with more than the average family. Well, Father, thank you. I'm glad you done that for me, Father. I am. But you're still wrong in what you're doing and saying and how you're handling things. You're still wrong for the way you handled my sister's battle with mental illness and drug abuse. You handled it wrong. And now we can correct it in a certain way. I'm not blaming you for her death. I'm just saying we saw how you did certain things and it wasn't okay. And you get mad when I just simply try to have a family meeting about how we can do things going forward. And we all as a unit, all of the children feel like you're very controlling. And when we express that, we're disrespectful kids. When them kids are upright, they speak intelligently, they're very, very articulate. They don't disrespect his image. They're not out here getting drunk on a week. Like, they're not doing anything. They're not doing all type of reckless, ignorant stuff. They're not out here abusing women. None of the crazy stuff. Like, and we can't have an opinion on things. We have to be you have to control the narrative surrounding us every single time. You're right in every situation. You're supposed to get your way every single time because you gave life to us. Come on, man. That ain't that now, man. And if we feel like you're wrong in something, we're soft. That's black folks' problem right there. I said it once, I said it again. That's black folks' problem. Black people think that tough love is the only way to raise your kid. Tough love 24/7. Children don't need tough love 24/7. That's how they get fucked up in this world. They get fucked up and they become hardened, right? They become so hardened because all they were given was tough love. Tough love was the only thing drilled into those kids. And so they get out here and they get disrespectful. They get smart. They become very short. They become very, very they have disrespectful tones when talking to people because they were hardened so much with tough love growing up. And when you're talking to somebody snark and disrespectful and you're being very rude and abrasive with people in the streets, they fuck you up. They whoop your ass. Right? That's what happens. So all that tough love, that's some bullshit. Tough love is needed for children without question. You need to hold your children accountable when they're wrong. You need to teach them right from wrong. You need to allow them to understand I can't save you in every situation. That's what a parent is supposed to do. But it's also your job as a parent to teach them to love them give them empathy and compassion, not just tough love 24/7. They need empathy and compassion as well mixed in with that. Appropriately, in the right amount, the right proportion of it, not just a small amount of empathy and compassion. They need just as much as that as they need tough love. And it's the hard truth that a lot of black parents don't want to hear. When your child is calling you out, they're not always just being disrespectful and they're telling something that you probably need to hear and how all the kids feel. And when they're good children, they don't disrespect you, they don't dishonor you in any type of way, hear them out. You know? I always said P always came across as a guy who, if you don't do something his way, he ain't fucking with you. He one of them old head, again, I was raised by an old head. When I say old head, I'm not being disrespectful when I say that. It's a term of endearment. I was raised by an older gentleman. My father is 67 years old. And so when it came to me, I'm the baby boy of his children. Me and my younger sisters, my younger sister has a different father from me, but I'm the youngest of my father's children. So with me, I think he saw things differently from me because I didn't buck at him. I didn't, and I understand Romeo's plight in a way, certain ways. My father was a loving father. He was hard body. He didn't play no games. Big Mike ain't play at all. My father's a very big man, 6'3", 250, right? 250, 260. But he always told us he loved us. He apologized when he was wrong. And I always appreciate him for that. But I also know my father's presence in the household was so big, and he wasn't even in the house with me and my mother. He wasn't. My father and my mother split when they were young, when I was a little itty bitty toddler, right? But even in his own household, my stepmother, his voice rang loud, even though he's not a loud person. Like, his presence was so big. Like, we were scared to oppose him. I felt like my father was wrong on certain instances. And I was scared to oppose my father because his presence was that big. And even when he was wrong as an adult, I had to fight and get out of those things and tell my father when he was wrong, and I had to do that. And he would hear me out for sure. But it took time for me to do that because I respected him so much because he was there, and a lot of black fathers in our hood was not there. He was there every wake of the hour. Every second of the day, he was there. Every time even though he wasn't in the house with us, he was there. And so I was like, man, I'm appreciative for my father for being here. A lot of my friends, some of my friends didn't have their fathers at all. Didn't have no relationship with him, didn't know him. And my father was there, taking all us, picking him, taking my friend home, all of that, So it was like, because my father was there and doing a lot more than a lot of my friends' fathers were. And because he was there and because he was doing what he's supposed to do as a dad, and he was a great dad for us, I was scared to oppose him because I was like, man, at least I had my father, and some people didn't. But I had to get past that and say, you know what, my daddy, he loves us, just like my mom loves us and there for us. But sometimes dad wrong. And you got to build it up because you respect your father. And Romeo had so much reverence for his father, it killed him to do this. But he had to. Because he like, Dad, cut it out. This is becoming too much. And he had to go and say that. Right? And my father is not like P is. My father is not always, it's his way or no way. But sometimes it felt like that sometimes, right? But when I voiced myself and finally built up the courage to oppose it, it was like, he sat and listened to me. And he respected me. He said, okay, Malcolm, that's what you want to do? Okay, I'm going to let you do what you want to do, son. And I was like, thank you, Dad. You know, because it took a while for me to build up that courage in me to say that to that man. Because I was so honored, I was so grateful for him. I was extremely grateful for my mother as well. But it was different. My relationship with my father, you know, my mother is a super nurturing soul. She tough, though. Tough. She ran our house with an iron fist. She was the warden. We couldn't get C's in our household. My father was tough as well, but he was loving as also. But it hit different with my dad because I was just, again, my relationship with my father, I thought about it in the grand scheme of things and how my friends and certain other boys in the hood never knew their father. It didn't have that. So I was like, it felt like, man, I have to love my father in a certain way because at least he's here. But it became to a point when I became a man, I had to tell him, no, Dad, that's not okay. Even certain things he did, I didn't agree with. I had to tell him that's not okay. You know, and he respected me. He listened to me because he knew I was a respectful son. P's so narcissistic. He's so bullheaded. He think he's right in every single thing. He can't even hear his son cries. He can't even hear the little boy and his son crying out saying, Dad, and black folks need to stop saying this shit is soft. That's why black men out here can't love their children appropriately. That's why they're hardened and they making their kids hardened and these young boys running through the street, bullheaded, getting into bullshit ass arguments, pulling out guns on each other over damn a road rage incident. I ain't talking about, again, your father there, he can keep you from the streets. But if your father is bullheaded and stubborn and hardened, he will raise a hardened man who sees one way. He has no type of different perspective on anything because his father only taught him it was a highway, his way or the highway, all the time. Even when they got older. As a parent, yeah, it's supposed to be your way. You're supposed to run your ship. But when your child gets older and they become their own person, they become their own man, they become an adult. You don't have sovereignty over them all the time when they're not in your household. And P still has sovereignty over his children to the way where, again, he get his way. He's supposed to get his way every single time. And if P don't get his way with his kids, I don't mean that in a derogatory way. When he don't get his way, when they don't agree with him all the way, he deems it as disrespectful. That's not okay. Let me read this quote from Romeo Miller. Romeo says, "This was my last straw, Pops. Stop trying to play the victim. I loved you so much that I followed you blindly for 30 plus years, and he did. Romeo followed his father blindly, even when his father was disrespecting his mother, calling her an addict on every TV show possible and radio station. Romeo followed his father blindly, right? He said, you know we've talked behind closed doors. You aren't the man who you paint to be. And why is it war? Because I refuse to follow your lead. He's saying, why is it war? Because I refuse to follow your lead, Dad. You only want to protect your image, but the image isn't even real. And I don't need anyone to feel sorry for me, Pops. I'm truly a man of God. If you are really a man of God, then you will prevail in the end. Even when I share my truth." He's saying, Dad, if you're really a man of God like you say you are, you still will prevail, even when I share my truth. So this shouldn't hurt you that I'm sharing my truth, Dad. I've tried to keep things in-house. You are addicted to social media. And unfortunately, you use this app as therapy. 3K plus posts, 3,000 plus posts on your Instagram. And when the world find out about the finances outside of a gift or a car I've never been paid for anything I've accomplished as Lil Romeo outside of a gift or a car. He says, Uncle C murder, Master P's brother that's locked up, Uncle C and Silk and Uncle Silk know you only pay outsiders rightfully, so they'll speak good on your name. He's saying you only pay people on the outside of your family, so they'll never speak bad about you. So you make sure everybody outside of the family is paid well, but your brothers and your son, you don't give us, well, you never gave us the money we were owed. And look, I'm your son, so you can say you can take my money. But what about Uncle C and Uncle Silk? You never paid them properly, and they know it. They just won't oppose you. Uncle C will oppose him, but Silk ain't go. Vashawn Miller, Uncle Silk the Shocker is never going to go against P. He looks up to his big brother. C Murder's a different dude. C been locked up. He's hard. And he's a street dude all the way through and through. He's bullheaded just like P. C Murder and P built the same way. So C gonna always go. He gonna go at his brother when he feel like his brother wrong. Vashawn Miller, Silk, he not gonna do that. So anyway, Romeo says, I'm at peace because I can now speak my truth and help others. Mom was always right. Your pride is everything. And it's black. It's a lot of, and again, I'm not making this a black man bashing video because my father was there and a lot of my uncles and all of them was there for their kids and I loved them wholeheartedly. They was there for us and all of that. And a lot of black men did a lot of great things for me along my way. I'm speaking from as a black father, I'm speaking. Sometimes our pride can get in the way of everything because it's hurting your pride for your children to oppose you. You can't see what they're saying because you're so mad that they would dare challenge you. And for those who saying, why bring this public? Like he said, P is addicted to social media all the way through and through. P bring everything. P don't listen to us. He refuses to listen to them when they're talking to him one-on-one. So Romeo had to take it to where his father can be reached. When his father is put on spot and for the world to see, then P stops and try to say stuff and listen. When his family calls him out on social media, that's the only way they can get through to him. C Murder's family was doing the same thing. C Murder's children were going against P because they know how P is, right? And he didn't respond. They said they couldn't even get him to respond until they brought it public because that's where P's domain is, public. He likes it like that way, you know. And people were telling Romeo, you need to be lucky. Your father did this. He got y'all rich, and Romeo had to reveal things because he felt like they were attacking his character as a young son. They were calling him disrespectful, calling him rude. And I seen people say that's why Angela Simmons would never be with you because she would never disrespect her father like that. Did you take it into account that her father does not do the things, is not bullheaded, and doesn't feel like he's supposed to get his way every single time? And when he doesn't, his kids are disrespectful. Maybe Rev Run does not conduct and run his household the same way Master P is. Maybe Rev Run is not cut the same way Master P is. His fatherhood is different, to where Angela never has to do that with her father. But Rome said he had to defend his honor because people are calling out his, people are calling out how, basically telling him you're not respectful. You're not tactful when it comes to your father. And so they like, you need to be grateful that your father kept you rich for years. And Romeo had to reveal, bro, we've been going check to check since I was 18 years old. We've been living check to check. And he said, I've been putting us in a certain position to do things. He had to let it be known because they were attacking his character as a son. And I feel like his character as a son should never be in question. We've seen him stand by P no matter what, through thick and thin. Like a soldier, like a real no-limit soldier, stand by his father. When him and his mother were at odds and P was attacking his mother in the media every chance he could get. And Sonya, I'm sure she didn't do everything right. But he like, y'all had 8 kids together. I love my mama. And again, black boys don't go against their mama like that. And P did. And Romeo stood next to his father when his father was going at his mom. So speaks volumes about who Romeo really is. He never talked crazy about his father, even when his father did things he felt like was wrong. And I know P's a man who feel like he's supposed to get his way every single time because I remember when Charlemagne the God hooked Kodak Black up with Master P. Kodak say he was doing a little book bag school supply giveaway. He hit up Master P to come on through and come, if you want to bring some stuff, go ahead and do it. P told him he wanted Kodak to go through his people to do the book bag drive. And Kodak was like, no, I want to just stay with the people I got. Master P got mad that Kodak wouldn't go through his people. He got mad and told Kodak he didn't want to do it no more. So Kodak like, okay, well, fuck it then. P, how you gonna get mad because this man don't go through your folks to do something? He just invited you to bring. You can bring your own people if you want to, but I'm gonna roll with my people, the people I'm using. P want him to use his folks, and if you ain't using his folks, then he ain't coming. Like, all that honorary shit that some dudes be doing, and some people of high stature and high status do. Oh, cut all that honorary. Cut that bullshit out. I ain't gotta do what you want me to do because you Master P and your way is law. I'm not one of your children. But P thinks he's supposed to have reign over every single thing, and when stuff don't go his way, you're being disrespectful. And I can't respect that, man. I feel where Romeo's coming from, and I'm siding with young Romeo. Romeo Miller ain't never went against his father until now. And he's doing it because he's hurt and frustrated at how his father is not hearing him out. And he had to get through him through social media. He got to get through his father through social media. And that's the sad part about it. P only gets, you can only get through to him on social media because people revere P so much. They will never go against him. Even when they know he's wrong. And it's due in part the fact that Master P's always did right by his artists. But when it comes to his children, it's a whole other thing. And he's sure he did right by them in certain ways. And Romeo said, I'm sure my father did the best that he could. I'm sure he tried to do his best, but still, it was things that he did that were wrong. And he feel like I should be able to tell him it was wrong without me being looked at as a bad son or a disrespectful kid. You know? But I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel where Romeo was coming from in this situation when it comes to his father, P. Machiavelli Mills TV. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm out. Peace.